help women, save lives, and peacefully end abortion where you live.
I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired.
You were serious about that?
Be inspired to change hearts and minds by joining over 1 million volunteers taking part in the global movement happening in your neighborhood.
She says, pray that I can get through this abortion. And I said, oh, no. So she went ahead and went into the abortion clinic. And she just came out. She told us, I'm not going to get the abortion. We just had a baby saved. We had a baby saved in Memphis today. Praise the Lord.
This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. And today we will cover pro-life songs in the secular world. There are many some great, pro-life Christian songs out there. This is going to be pop culture and pro-life songs, and it is quite diverse. We have done a movie podcast, we have done a literature podcast, but we have never done a music podcast. So we'll give you some songs that may surprise you that are indeed pro-life. And if you're listening to this on the audio, you can just go right to Spotify or wherever you get your music and check these songs out for yourself. I also want to remind people, as things have been quite busy at 40 Days for Life, that if you do not already get it, sign up for the free Day 41 magazine. This is our quarterly magazine. We've had about 8,000 or 9,000 people just recently be added to that list because they want to get it. And so we have a record size. I believe that's the most distributed magazine in the pro-life movement. I don't know. It's not a competition, but it is widely distributed, and I want to encourage you to get it. We also have a Spanish version now in Latin America, so it's just been awesome. But Day 41 is a great way to get in-depth knowledge of the pro-life movement, and know what's coming and get good analysis. We always have a legal in. We have Dr. Haywood Robinson always has a medical article. I do a letter. And, of course, Steve Carlin writes so many great articles. We get a report from Robert Cahoon in England about the international front. So be sure to go 40daysforlife.com/magazine, 40daysforlife.com/magazine, and sign up to get that free resource. We probably get more compliments on that than anything else we do at 40 Days for Life, except, of course, the podcast. So we thank you for your faithfulness to the podcast. Okay, today we are covering pro-life songs, and to join me is a music expert and part of, what was your ridiculous band in high school?
No Bolshevik.
Yes. You were the bass guitar.
Yeah,
Why
but
are you laughing, Heather?
I was also the lead singer.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
just get it together. Get it together. This is serious. So welcome, Mr. Bolshevik or whatever.
Yeah.
And Heather, who has a beautiful voice, and I always forget that you can sing. Because when we were in college, you sang at St. Mary's all the time, the college Catholic Center, and you were great. And then at the pro-life movement, we don't have too many opportunities. But recently, we were at a dinner in Austin, and you got up to sing the national anthem, and you killed it.
Thank you.
I've never heard you sing the national anthem.
Really?
I'm so intimidated by that. I love it, obviously, but I know for singers as yourself, it's a hard song to sing. But you just pulled it off. It was awesome. So, no disrespect to your garage band.
No, if we have an opening for a female singer, I'll give Heather a call.
We have in the midst of our busy tour schedule.
We haven't played in a long time, but there's no more exciting phrase in the English language than "We're getting the band back together, baby."
Yes.
I just don't see this as the traditional successful rock band with like the awards and the cocaine parties and all that kind of thing. But, you did tell me that the neighbors called the police many times on you,
Yes.
which prepared you for 40 Days for Life leadership. And the cops were like, come on, these kids are like, they're not doing anything bad. They're trying to get their little band off the ground. So
Yeah, we were getting the band back together the first time. Yeah, it was great. And Yeah, that's why it may not be the traditional story, but that's just going to make like the television special on our earth-shattering success all the more exciting.
As far as music, as we get into this, because there's some great songs on abortion and popular music, but just in general, we're all 90s kids. So Hootie and the Blowfish and
Nirvana.
Hold on, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to Kurt Cobain, God rest his soul. Well, let's start with that. Is there a band that you liked that people would be surprised that you liked?
I mean, everybody always raises their eyebrow when I say, yes, I like Creed and Nickelback. I will admit to both of those.
Oh, they were great, but they're not, I don't think they're kind of edgy. Well, what about Bush?
Oh, you're looking for edgy. Okay.
I liked Bush. Glycerine. No one knows what that is, but they were great. I don't like, what are they doing right now? I have no idea. But
County fairs and casinos,
that's
probably.
right. Glycerine. Shut up.
Which I always thought said "Kiss the Rain" before I read the lyrics. That was one of those songs.
I don't know if it was because of high school football or whatever, but I love Metallica, like the newer Metallica, post-conversion Metallica, and just loved it, and then got away from it, probably like in college, ironically. It's like a big high school thing, and then you just wore myself out on like 12 Metallica songs. And then like 2 years ago, no, I tell you what it was. I did a half marathon, and you have like a playlist. I never listen to music when I run. So I knew when I did the half marathon, once I actually really got tired, I could switch it up and listen to music, and that would like get me through. And so it was like 3 Johnny Cash songs, and then the final like 5 miles or 3 miles you put on Metallica, and of course it ends with Fuel, and you're like, I should have done a full marathon. So no, Metallica's awesome.
All right.
I don't think I have a good answer to the question. My taste in music,
Yeah, you do.
back in my day, was usually described as like basic or not. I wasn't into like the dangerous rock bands. It was usually pretty low key.
Do you remember Blind Melon?
Yes.
So what happened to them? No Rain. Mm-hmm. All I can do is, yeah.
I have. Do you know what happened to them? That's a very random drop here.
No, I'm hoping
Okay.
it's like one of your baseball things where you're like, oh yeah, that guy that played for the Reds in 1987. So you don't know. I don't either. I wish I did.
The
But
song comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that song, and then I usually flip the station.
all I can say
Yeah.
is that my life is pretty plain.
It's not a good song or a bad
that's-
song. It's
I
just a
wouldn't known the
song.
name. Okay.
But it dominated everything. So did Mr. Jones by Counting
That
Crows.
song ruled.
That song did rule, but it comes on now, and I'm like, or I downloaded it for my kids to hear to say this was like it, like when I was in like the 5th or 6th grade. Okay. And I just don't get it. I think I liked it.
They got bored of it too, because if you go to a Counting Crows concert, they got bored with all of their music, and they've like kind of like remixed it all, and you're like, this is not what I paid my $56 to come see.
Yeah. I tell you who's phenomenal and is still kicking it is Matchbox 20.
Really?
They're like touring all the time. And
are they?
It's a bunch of 45-year-olds, and it's hysterical.
I liked them. I like Match. I just didn't know they were still touring.
My stepbrother's obsessed with Metallica. I think he's seen them like 12 times.
Okay.
And I'm like, I would never go to a Metallica concert. There's going to be a bunch of drug people that kill you. And he's like, no, that's what's funny. It's a bunch of like families and like parents with their little kids because they're all a bunch of old people now, and I kind of got a kick out of that. He's like, they don't sing like their crazy, crazy early stuff anymore. But yeah. And then of course I got the country music bug, and that was... But people don't remember the 90s really created this monster that became country music because of Garth Brooks and Shania Twain. They basically casted a wider net and got more people to like country. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Garth Brooks had 1 million people in Central Park. He had 1 million people in Dublin, Ireland. But then there was like the new country came out of that, and everybody didn't really like that as much. And now we have the backlash, which we've talked about on the podcast, where the new country singers are traditional John Party and Luke Combs and Stapleton and all those guys. It's like the more kind of Bubba you are, and the good old boy thing is like back, and the fiddle is back.
Yes.
And who got him through all of those eras from the beginning was the king.
That's right, George Strait.
He was just
And you
like,
got to reference him in your songs.
yes, yes. He's just like the constant. Yeah, now there's songs about George Strait. Do you know how many songs he's in?
I can think of like 4 recent songs. Like,
Oh, 4 recent ones, but it has to be over 25
Probably.
songs total.
Probably.
It's a good Google. Like how many country singers reference George Strait?
But it's actually sort of part of the problem with country music is instead of telling stories like George Strait would have, they're just dropping like, and I like George Strait, and I like Kid Rock, and I like Nickelback, and you're just
Yeah.
like establishing like, I like all these different sorts of music, and
Yeah.
it's just lists.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, that's true. But I do like the backlash of country music. That it's become more traditional, and my own kids had to teach me that because I'm like, I don't listen to anything that was made after 1999. You know, just like stubborn and pretends like you're an idiot. You don't realize what's going on. This is like 5 years ago, and then she introduced me to John Party, and she put on Old Hat. Great song. Just download it now. Old Hat. Great song, and positive actually too. And then I was converted to these new guys. But so I'm not like regularly listening to Metallica now because I don't want to be like that guy. But
Not in the carpool on the way to school.
no, and not in the no. And now I've got a little bit of old man going on, but as far as what I'm listening to, but these songs, which I know we're going to debate, we're going to start off by criticizing Heather Gardner. Because we have to say this is not a list of pro-life songs. We will debate that. Most of these songs are not pro-life. Okay, that's in our notes that you wrote. Okay. But each tells us something about abortion, or at least references, some kind of abortion-related thing. The first one is a pro-life song by, dare I say, a pro-life guy, although people Google it and then email me that I'm an idiot. There Goes My Life by Kenny Chesney. God bless him.
Have you ever
Straight out of Knoxville.
Have you ever met someone named Kenny who's not pro-life? Because I don't think I have.
That's point number one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever met somebody named Kenny from Eastern Tennessee who's
Right.
not pro-life?
Right.
How is this song, There Goes My Life? He doesn't want the baby. It's going to ruin his life. It's every pregnancy center presentation that's ever taken place.
We've got to reset that for those
Okay.
deprived listeners who are not into country music. What is this song? There Goes My Life. As you said, Sean, it's a song about a guy who thinks his life is over. It's finished because
Got his girlfriend
pregnant. And before long, he realized, there goes my life. Like, oh, there goes my life. Now it's like his daughter. That's his life. There she goes.
How am I going to raise a kid while I'm still a kid myself?
Yeah.
And then that thing that he thought was a problem, 3 years later, that thing that he thought was a problem covers the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I think it's beautiful. I think it has a prolific theme, but I don't think you can go so far as to say Kenny Chesney is pro-life because of the song, because it doesn't say, oh, they were faced with the choice of abortion or choosing life. They were considering abortion, but they didn't have an abortion.
How long do you want this song to be? And
I'm
then they
just
took a
saying.
40 Days for Life pamphlet.
He just kind of glosses over that. He just says, okay, it's a teenage pregnancy and they thought their life was over and then it turned out differently, but it was beautiful. That's great, but it doesn't say we're against abortion.
Let's do some disclaimers. First off, I love Kenny Chesney. Okay, so that's just, and a lot of people don't. I hated him and then I loved him. So he's like, the older I got, the more I loved him. The other thing is, I'm not saying that this means like Kenny Chesney is going to the Heartbeat International Conference and like their biggest donor. If he is, I hope he is, because the song would make sense. I don't know if he supports abortion or not.
There you
What
go.
I'm saying is that the song is pro-life. I'll flip it around. Name an abortion doctor who likes this song.
Okay.
What kind of does the president of NARAL like that this song is out there? No, it's a positive choose life song.
Yeah, I could see that.
You don't like Kenny.
No, I like Kenny
You do?
Chesney. I do
Okay.
like Kenny Chesney. Yeah.
Okay. I can't get
was-
to the
I
bottom
was-
of why you're so
I
stubborn
was
with this
singing,
because
I think that this was one of those knee-jerk, like desperate moments for pro-lifers. Like we've got to really glom onto anything we can and call it pro-life.
Like
But
where we're
you-
like, oh, the atheist. There's a pro. Even the atheist is pro-life.
Yeah,
that type of
no,
thing.
no.
Like for
but-
Kenny again, the song itself, yes, prolific in its theme, doesn't mean Kenny Chesney's pro-life.
that's not what
that's
this
my
is.
point.
No, you're wrong on this, and I don't do that. I hate that. Somebody's like, I don't know. Somebody wins an Oscar or something and mentions her baby, and everybody like jumps up. I don't
she's
do
pro-life.
that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do that. This is in a different category. This is in the category of Juno. The director of Juno is pro-abortion,
Yes. Yeah.
but I think it's a he.
She.
She
Well, who
went to
knows
high
these
school,
days?
Well,
right?
yeah, be careful.
Gosh.
She's pro-abortion, but she made a pro-life movie.
Yeah.
Juno is a pro-life movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what Kenny personally does, or he's probably a Democrat. Who knows? But the song speaks for itself. It's only like 2.5 minutes. You can listen to it 1,000 times and you're like, yeah, this is a pro-life song. And that is an objective fact.
I've got Exhibit C. So Exhibit A is his name is Kenny, got to be pro-life. Exhibit B is the lyrics you just described. But he has another song called Never Gonna Feel That Way Again. And this has a verse about a young man in a similar situation. And he said, at first I thought of leaving town, but I couldn't let our families down. Now I'm out here throwing this ball around with a boy who looks just like me. That's where you've got the rejection of abortion right there. We see it right there.
That's a tearjerker.
Yeah. That's good.
We should get him at the
I'm not
symposium.
denying that.
You're being mean to Kenny Chesney. I won't stand for it. He also has another pro-life song, No Shoes, No Shirt, No Problem.
How is this pro-life?
Beer in Mexico? Is that a pro-life song by
It's
Kenny
pro
Chesney?
quality of life, maybe.
Summertime.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Sexy,
Yeah,
there you go.
that's-
Which I got in trouble in high school for wearing a T-shirt that said that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a famous T-shirt back in the day. But that's I guess a procreation, pro-family song. I don't
Sure.
know. In the right context. But
Kenny's pro-life and he's pro-creation.
he's procreation, and I think he's also like, some people don't live their songs. Like George Strait said, it's a fantasy. I don't live my music. I sing it. My real life is at home with my family. I'm not sure that's the case with Kenny. I think he probably
Yeah.
does drink Busch Light with his high school buddies on Friday night.
For
and
sure.
They get in a fight over like who had more touchdowns their senior year.
And he really does like the whole no shoes, no shirt, no problem.
But that's why he's a good artist.
Life on the beach. Yeah.
He's a good artist because I think he's a sad guy and he's lonely. And that's why he comes up with brilliant music like this. It's the same with, oh my gosh. How could I forget it? What's the one where he has a fight with his wife and he goes into the bar?
Oh, the good stuff?
Yeah, man.
Oh, the good
that's
stuff.
the good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good song. Yeah.
That's a sweet song.
Yeah. It's very good.
Heather probably doesn't like it.
I
Probably thinks
just
it's-
said it's
She
good.
thinks it's
I
an
love it.
anti. That doesn't mean Kenny believes
Doesn't
in
mean
marriage.
it's pro-marriage.
And to Heather's credit, Kenny Chesney married
Renee
Zellweger
Zellweger
and then
for
got
6
it annulled
months.
like right away. So
Yeah.
maybe
For a hot minute, yeah.
That was not a good fit.
But You Had Me From Hello was based on her line in Jerry Maguire.
I know.
And that was why everybody's like, oh my God, you're
Yeah,
so amazing.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know why that marriage didn't work. It just didn't seem like it was like when Keith Urban married Nicole Kidman. Everybody's like, okay, they're blonde, they're Australian, they're famous. That's just gonna work. And they've been together.
It's just going to work.
I think like 25 years or something.
Probably,
but
yeah.
she was one of like 9 Tom Cruise wives. But it's hard to be married to a guy who's like, next week I'm going to jump out of an airplane and land on a motorcycle. Yeah, but Billy has a soccer game. I don't have time for that. So I don't know how Renee and Kenny didn't work out, but it didn't work out. And as I've admitted, I did not like Kenny Chesney's music early on in life. Now I love it. Probably, I think I know the year. Like 2013.
that you started liking Kenny Chesney? Oh, wow, that took you a while.
I didn't like him, so I didn't listen to him. And
Okay.
then what was going on in my life? There goes my life.
Your daughters told you to like him?
So they were
9, 8,
yeah,
they were 7
yeah.
and 8 at
They
the
were
time.
7 and 8, so that's fun. But I was probably 30 or something. Like I turned 30. That's what
Oh.
it was. I turned 30, and all of a sudden I like Kenny.
Okay. How about that?
I don't know. So
Your classic coming of age tale.
Morgan Wallen's got a little Kenny Chesney to him. Like-
East Tennessee.
I believe, yeah. And I believe he lives his music. Like, I actually think Morgan Wallen is going to get dumped by his girlfriend this Thursday and then get drunk on whiskey on Friday night and be angry. And that's like, I don't know, 80% of his songs. And it's like
Yeah.
too real to not be true. And then he'll come around and have some like nice sentimental song. It's like great. So that's the depression. They got to go down and be sad. And
It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. It's a really roller coaster. Okay. So we covered all of that. Hold on. Let's finish on this. There Goes My Life. So there's stages to it. There Goes My Life. You know, you got her pregnant. It's over. I won't be able to live my life. I won't be able to drink with the guys, all that kind of stuff. Then it's the 3-year-old. And then
Then the college girl.
the college girl, they had that Civic loaded down. He checked the oil, slammed the hood, said, "You're good to go to the West Coast." And that's where I disagree with Kenny. He's just sending his daughter off to California. So
Because that's where he wanted to go when he was a teenager. In the song.
is it?
Yes.
I missed that.
You see, he wanted to go, that goes my life. I wanted to go to the West Coast. And then that's the kind of the hanging and headed off to the West Coast.
That's how you know Kenny's a real poet here, because every time you go through the lyrics, you learn something that you didn't pick up the previous time. It's
there
kind of
you
like Dickens.
Yeah, Faulkner was like that in his literature.
I think we got that one.
I do. But it's got a little tearjerker, you know, and we have daughters, and it's good. Okay.
Little softies.
The thing is, we're going to say "There Goes My Life" like 10 times when they drive off.
There goes my life. There goes my life. There goes my life.
My kids leave Bridget leaves for college. And there goes my life. Never mind. I got 7 more kids here. All right, well, we'll see you at Thanksgiving.
Peace.
Okay. Yeah. We're busy. Okay. She doesn't listen to the podcast, so I think I'm good. Okay. I can't remember this one. Number 2 on our list, "The Freshman" by the Verve Pipe.
Yeah, weird name, huh?
I don't know
remember
what
this song,
that
Heather?
is.
I remember it, but in
Oh.
terms of relating to this topic, I was surprised to see it on the list.
Yeah, it's one of your classic 90s one-hit wonders. You guys will know it when you hear it.
Yes.
Loosely based on the singer/songwriter's girlfriend's abortion back in high school when they were merely freshmen. And it's the key lyrics here, the reason we pick it out, he says, "When I was young, I knew everything, and she a punk who rarely took advice. Now I'm guilt-stricken, sobbing with my head on the floor, stop a baby's breath and a shoe full of rice." There's a lot of stuff that's interesting here. The chorus, he repeatedly says, "I can't be held responsible."
Yeah.
And so it's sort of, this idea, we see it at Planned Parenthood all the time, like, oh, it's whatever she wants. I'm not responsible, her choice, that sort of thing. I was seduced by her, and that's why she got pregnant. This song is written by a guy who makes no apologies for his girl, and we'll have a couple like that on the list, makes no apologies for the fact that he and his girlfriend had an abortion, still pro-choice to this day. But if you listen to the song, like not just in the words, but even in the melody, you hear the pain of that abortion reverberating through the music. And I think that is telling. Not a pro-life song by any stretch of the imagination, but the truths of the brutality and the ugliness and the pain that follow abortion come through every last note of the song.
It's one of those things. It's like, now that you say all this, okay, great. Obvious why this is included in this list, but it's like you heard it at a certain point in your life where you didn't really think about the lyrics too much, right?
Sure.
You remember the song, but you don't necessarily remember the meaning of the song. So it's good.
Yeah. You can look it up, Spotify or wherever all fine music is sold today.
I know it's going to be one of the, I don't remember it, but I know when I listen to it, I'm sure I'll recognize it. One of y'all want to sing it?
He already did. He sang the
I
chorus
said
a
the
little bit.
lyrics. You don't want me to sing.
Okay.
Not-
I've been
not
singing
without my
on this
band
podcast.
here.
I'm horrible at singing, and I like doing it, which is a bad combo.
He just keeps going, "Can't be held responsible," and that's like you said, says it over and over again. But I'm not going to attempt the rest of it.
I'll download it. All right, the next, I have not heard this song.
No?
You haven't heard this song?
Oh, no.
Come on.
Okay,
He's
so
heard this song. He
This
just
is
doesn't know
the
it.
50-layered disclaimer at the bottom of the screen. We do not endorse the opinions of Kanye West. We realize he has made anti-Semitic jokes and actually anti-Semitic comments, not even joking, and he's a nut. So we're not held responsible.
But other than that,
With that said, Kanye West. So, Gold Digger. So this came out in 05.
05, yeah. This is a sort of the song. I graduated college in 06, got married right away, and when I think about that part of my life, I'm thinking,
Kanye?
we want prenup. I think that was the
Yes,
famous lyric.
yes.
We
Oh
want
my
prenup.
gosh. We want prenup. Yep.
Heather, what do you remember about this one?
I remember that the radio version bleeped out the N-word because that's in the song.
Kanye West has a few of those, apparently.
Yeah. But it's what were we saying before? It's kind of anti-relationship,
Yeah.
anti-commitment,
Anti-child.
anti-child.
Because he's talking about how, like, you got to be careful because if you get a woman pregnant, 18 years, 18
yes,
years.
yes.
And then,
Yeah, she's you have to pay child support for 18 years is the point of that. So
and what's he say? Key lyrics here. We've got 18 years. She got one of your kids, got you for 18 years. I know somebody paying child support for one of his kids. His baby mama's car and crib is bigger than he is. So,
And then,
Because they're
like-
expensive?
Yeah.
Is that what so he's worried about the cost.
oh yeah.
yes. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Gold digger. Like, these girls are going to try to
This
have
is
your
not
kid.
on the pro-life song list.
No,
It
no,
just
no. But
references
it
abortion.
illustrates the depravity of our culture. And this is peak Kanye, too. This is right after he went on TV and said, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
people.
Remember
Yeah,
that?
he's big at this point. I mean, he was really big until recently when he just totally imploded.
Yes.
I mean, well, in 2016 when he endorsed Trump, that was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump during that time, he had a lot of celebrities like supporting him, like Tom Brady. But what I loved about that era is specifically those two, Kanye and Tom Brady. Like Trump would talk about them like normal people because he'd get this endorsement and he wouldn't make the huge deal out of it. He'd be like, Tom's a great guy, good golfer too. People talk about the football, but the guy on the golf course, he's unbelievable, great guy. Hey, Kanye, I love Kanye, nice guy.
Have you seen that Trump is doing like video introductions at Kid Rock concerts now?
Wow.
So was it a hoax? I think that it was a hoax that Kid Rock got pictured with the Bud Light. Did you see that?
I
This
heard
was like a
something about
month ago. Kid Rock was on a roof and he's holding a Bud Light after he shot the Bud Light and boycotted. And basically, like, you're an elitist. You just play. You're like all the rest of them. You're not one of us. You're all for show. And then it came out that it was photoshopped. Yeah. It does look weird because it's like you can kind of tell it's Kid Rock. It's a little blurry, but then like the Bud Light's clear, so it kind of looked weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's water is water, right?
Exactly.
But the Kid Rock thing, because Kid Rock's real name is like Richie or something, right? I think it's like Richie. So Trump comes up in this video as Kid Rock's about to take the stage. It's like,
Calls him by his
about
name.
to introduce you to one of our great American entertainers. Richie's a great guy. Yeah.
Richie's a great guy, good cook too. He made me some ribs a long time ago. Yeah, he just does like he just hang out all the time. He's with Tom Brady just watching TV at his house right now. Yeah, I always get a kick out of that.
Back to country music now.
Okay, this is a tough one. I think I've switched on this. I hated this song when it came out because I was new in the pro-life movement and I was like, Tim McGraw is a pro-abort. I'm throwing away his CDs and all that. And I kind of got over that because, number one, I really like Tim McGraw. And number two, I switched on this song because I like it. I think it's realistic. Red Ragtop by Tim McGraw, Red Ragtop. So he's talking about his old girlfriend and his old car. His old car is the Red Ragtop. And they end up getting pregnant, I believe, in the old Red Ragtop. And then they're going to have the abortion. And he says, you do what you do and you pay for your sin. Now, originally when I heard it, I just heard the abortion reference and he's not condemning it. He's not saying that it's a sin. He's not. I was taking the hard nose. And then the song was huge. And then I realized it's in negative context. And he actually does say that it's a sin. You do what you do and you pay for your sin. And when we were volunteering at the Coalition for Life and like sidewalk counseling, there was like division on this song. Like people thought you basically supported Planned Parenthood if you listened to this song because it was huge when it came out.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm so glad it was huge when it came out because, and I was on the you can't listen to the song, it's awful. We had like a family debate about it one time.
This is like the Texas version of the Harry Potter debate, isn't it?
Yes. That's very Harry Potter's evil. Harry Potter's great. That is one of the greatest things you've ever said. This is the Texas version. Is Tim McGraw's. Now we will say full disclosure: Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are liberal people. They're Democrats, and he was going to run for like Congress or something in Louisiana as a Democrat or whatever. So he's not a big Trumper at all. But that's irrelevant. They're still, I think, an impressive celebrity couple in that they've been married 35 years. They never spent more than 2 days apart from their 4 kids. And, there's a lot of, comparatively to other celebrities, I don't know who would pull that off. So they've done great with that. And their music's phenomenal. But this song, I had a big argument. Mary Lisa and I had an argument, like on her side of the
you had
family.
an argument.
Like Mary Lisa and I are on the Tim McGraw's evil. You can't listen to the song. And then over time, I was like, I think it's actually a pro-life song.
I remember having mixed feelings about it when it came out because I really liked the song itself. I liked the music, but but the lyrics made me so uncomfortable. So I didn't listen to it for a while because I was like, oh, it's like a good song, but it's got a bad message. But you're right, he does call it a sin, which is a good thing to acknowledge that. And then it also portrays the reality that's very common, which is most couples don't stay together after they have an abortion.
Yeah, that's, I think, the most poignant to me part of the lyrics is like she has the abortion and she's like begging him, please don't stop loving me. And he vows he's going to stick with her. And he says, we made one more trip around the sun. I don't know where she is today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a pro-life song, in my opinion. I'm just saying I was wrong in 2003 or whatever it was. But it's really good. And life was fast and the world was cruel. We were young and wild. We decided not to have a child.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood doesn't like that. So we did what we did and tried to forget. And we swore up and down there would be no regrets in the morning light. But on the way home that night, on the back of that red rag top, she said, please don't stop loving me. We took one more trip around the sun, but it was all make-believe in the end. No, I can't say where she is today. And then I think it closes out at the end. He's like, you do what you do and you pay for your sins, and it's good. It's a pro-life song. I think this is what we want art to do, is to bring it in and stir the pot and cause a debate.
I don't like the song, but for the right reasons. Like, to me, it's just a painful song to listen to because we've seen this out and like it's cruising around. It's like Friday night after work. You don't want to listen to that because it's accurate.
Yeah. I think that was actually we were always on the sidewalk. We were always sidewalk counseling. Nobody was volunteering. It was a real like downtime in the pro-life movement in my world. And so I think that was part of it. It just made me mad. But I know it's a great song, and well, you know better than anybody because you can sing. But Tim McGraw can just straight up sing.
Yeah,
I mean
he's a great artist.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, "To Zion" by Lauryn Hill featuring Carlos Santana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this song that well. I listened to it in preparation for this episode, but this was a Heather pick. Heather, what can you tell us about this one?
So Lauryn Hill actually was a young mom. She became pregnant, I think, with her first child at 19, and she was told that was when her career was starting to take off. It was kind of around the Sister Act 2 movie time. I don't know. I think it was maybe right after that. And she was told to abort, that her life is going to be over, her career's over, she needs to abort. So she essentially rejects that and then writes a song saying how she rejected that. So the song is named Zion after her son Zion. She named her son Zion. And it's good. And she performed it at the Grammys, I believe. She performed this song at the Grammys. So it was even more like, boom.
I'm going to make a point that just I've noticed, and we've done a few of these kind of podcasts, and we're definitely going to get emails saying that I'm a total moron. I just think it's okay to be pro-life in pop culture. I mean, we've done the movie references. When you have movies like Knocked Up, like which I haven't seen, I've just heard about. But the choosing life is acceptable in Hollywood. The choosing life is acceptable in, pop culture, unless you're Kanye. But it's a legitimate option. You know how we're just like academia pro-abortion, government pro-abortion. That's true. I don't think we can say that for Hollywood. There's a lot of examples where the baby's born. Matthew Perry, died recently in the last year, and everybody was talking about Fools Rush In, which is probably one of the greatest pro-life movies with Selma Hayek, because he's hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
And they go down to Mexico, and where he's like, the white people are melting, and that was a popular movie. Nobody was saying, hey, look, women need to have a choice about, they should have had an abortion. Nobody actually does that with these Hollywood movies. So I think it's a observation that if you want to put something on the world's not ending list of like, they're all out to get us, there's actually a lot of examples of this being seen as a positive.
I think it shows how unnatural abortion is, because you get unnatural stuff in Congress. Like, they're trying to run the world and tell you how the world should be. They're trying to force things. It's exercise of power. Hollywood, as messed up as they are, and as much as they do to drive the culture in the wrong direction, ultimately they still have to cater to what people want. And people want a good story about love and children and family. At the end of the day, that's the most natural thing in the world. And you can't completely run away from it and abandon it. It's why like their efforts on, remember a couple of years ago, they tried to do like the movie on like the buddy abortion road trip or whatever.
Yeah. The
Bomb.
HBO or whatever show.
Bomb. It's depressing.
Yeah, and then there was one they tried to pull off.
But it was supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, buddy comedy, road trip for abortion. Nobody wanted to see that. And they tried to put on like a rom-com, like a gay rom-com. Like, you could be the most progressive thing in the world. You just don't want to see a love story with two dudes. Nobody does. Nobody does. Unless you're trying to push an agenda. And so most people still, however they vote, whatever they believe, they still live in reality. And so entertainment and art are going to have to, I think, reflect that on some level.
I think we touched on it in a podcast way back when we analyzed just how, for the first time, Pride Month has kind of lost its luster and sort of was not celebrated by all and just accepted, and for the first time criticized. I think that the gay movies have shown that. One of the things that Hollywood and some of these film critics complain about is like, Brokeback Mountain was such a great movie. It's just the bigotry of our country, and that's why it didn't make money, because it was one of those where it really didn't make a lot of money, but it was like nominated for every award because it's the gay cowboy movie, and that was like the first one of its kind. But these recent movies, what's the one? It's Matt Walsh was on it, but they was talking about it. It just absolutely bombed.
Bros
bombed. And then the director blamed the moviegoers for not going, saying
the audience sucks.
saying they were anti-gay. And we're not anti-gay. America's the most tolerant country in the world for homosexuals.
Comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke. So now you're criticizing America because your gay movie bombed. And then M. Night Shyamalan, who I love his movies, but he had the Cabin movie about the family getting attacked by the crazies in the woods. And the family is a gay couple that adopted a little girl. And it just bombed. Because you're like, I just want a scary movie without all the gay stuff. Like, it just became, it's the agenda part of it. And M. Night Shyamalan's never done that. I mean, he's got some phenomenal movies. He had one weird one, which was clearly about the environment, where people are like killing themselves, and it's because the leaves are speaking out. I'll ruin it for you because I'm actually saving you. I don't remember the name of it, but so I thought Signs was great. It's a movie that's very Catholic. Is The Sixth Sense? I mean, that was his first movie. That was great, But then
We talked about Old on one of our podcasts on
Old.
movies.
Yeah, I liked Old. I saw it in the theater with Mary Lisa's parents. We went on like a double date with them. Uplifting movie, and then we rented it later, and I actually liked it even more. But even M. Night Shyamalan is like, I'm making all these big blockbuster horror movies. They all have a twist. I just think, I don't know, we haven't had a gay couple yet, and it's just so forced.
Yeah,
and it's a distraction because you're like, well, who are the girls' real parents? I didn't see the Gay Cabin movie, but that would just be so it bombed. It totally bombed. It has like worst opening in the history of all of his films, and his films like do well.
This reminds me, I'm trying to think of a podcast-friendly way to say this, but remember in the 90s when Norm Macdonald was doing the Weekend Update?
Yes.
And he read
a great time in the United States of America.
He had a headline, how can I sanitize this? He's reading a poll result, a survey, according to new survey research, for the first time, a majority of Americans are ready to see a gay couple as the leads in a television sitcom. But that number shrinks to just 1% when people were reminded what a gay relationship entails.
God.
But there's a truth to it.
Yes, but here's what has changed. And I know we've talked about this. In whatever year that was, 1995 or whatever, gay people thought that was hysterical. And they cracked up at it and they loved it. But something happened with this movement. I don't know if it was the militancy of it was not really there in the mid-90s. It was kind of like we want to be accepted and we're kind of edgy. Now it's not edgy. Everybody's gay or identifying as gay or trans, and you can't be, that's why there's the division between the homosexuals and the trans people, because the homosexuals are like, but gender's a big deal to us.
Yeah.
It's what makes us actually different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's the thing now is everybody's offended at everything. And so, but that was back in the 90s where people made fun of every group, and that was just part of the deal.
But I think this is why, like, the art, the music, the film, in so many cases reflects reality in ways you wouldn't expect out of Hollywood or wherever it is that music's made, is because no one wants to see the same-sex stuff, and no one wants to think about or see or experience the reality of what the aftermath of abortion looks like. Whether it's like what an actual abortion looks like, or what these broken relationships from Tim McGraw look like, or the heartache of the woman, or all that stuff. The only way to acknowledge it is truthfully. You can't have a happy song about abortion.
It is. And I would agree. I would say this is the weakness, but necessary weakness of Unplanned the movie. Because the reality is that's not a movie most people are just going to watch every year. Mm-hmm. It's a one and done for a lot of people. Maybe they've seen it 2 or 3 times because they like brought their friends, or they bought the DVD, or they ordered it from us because they just want to support it. But it's not. In the end, it's a great ending. It's a beautiful ending, but it's a rough movie to watch. And nobody wants to watch an abortion once a year.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Passion. Like, this is a point where I just need to my annual Lenten watch, or I use like every 3 years for me, or so. I don't watch it every year.
So we watch The Passion every Holy Week.
Okay.
Or we've done it on Ash Wednesday before, but mainly we watch it Holy Thursday, like going into the Triduum. I love it. Mary Lisa likes watching it, but I'm definitely the advocate for it. It's like the Irish Catholic. Of course, Dad wants to watch The Passion, and it's like the 4th of July or something. But once a year is great on a meditative, prayerful, having the images in your head for the rest of the year when you're praying and meditating upon these major events in the life of Christ. And also when you yourself are suffering. I mean, I'm a wuss. I get like blood drawn, for my annual like doctor visit, and I'm sitting there like thinking of Jim Caviezel. But because I'm a lunatic when it comes to that stuff. But Unplanned's not like that. I don't think I could, and I had to see it like 60 times when we were promoting it, so I know that's a little different. But I don't know a lot of people that watch Unplanned once a year. I think once every 3, 4, 5 years. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting. That's the downer of Red Ragtop. You're like, this is really sad.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one I am pumped about because I fell for this. I didn't know what this was about. Mm-hmm. I just love the Goo Goo Dolls. Mm-hmm. So Slide, you got to sing it for us.
Yeah, Slide.
There we go.
There you go.
This is the main line.
That's it.
This was my favorite band as a teenager. Like, bad name, right? Goo Goo Dolls is a terrible.
It
It's
is
an
a
awesome
terrible
name.
I thought
That's
it was
what
terrible.
made them.
You think
Goo
so?
Goo Dolls, Matchbox 20. Like, we have no idea what this is. I don't know what a Goo Goo Doll is.
Do you know why they picked their name? They had a very offensive name, and like the theater wouldn't put it on the marquee, and they were drunk, and they saw some ad for something called an actual doll, and
that's
we'll
great.
go with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I've seen them, I don't know how many times I've seen them. They're to me like what your friend with Metallica, seeing them like a dozen times or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've seen them. This is a song that I think probably Slide. I think a lot of people who are 90s kids like us are listening. It's like, what? Because it sounds like a very bouncy kind of
Right.
poppy, jangly guitar. It's a light sounding song, but ultimately it's about the singer is like the loser boyfriend. Like, whatever you decide, you want to have an abortion, you got married, you want to do whatever, it's cool, man. And that's where it comes from. Don't you love the life you killed? Your priest is on the phone, your father hit the wall, your ma disowned you, like whatever.
That's what that's about. I
Yeah.
just was like, they mentioned a priest.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Right.
understand any of the songs.
Priest is on the phone.
It's just
Okay.
a great beat. So I love it. And this was a revelation when you put it on the list.
Yeah, it's surprising to everybody because it sounds, if you don't know what the words are, if you are from a different country and don't speak English, you would think this is the happiest song in the world. So this is a case where the lyrics just don't match it. But the reason we put it on here is ultimately it's got the loser boyfriend factor in spades. It's the best example, I think, of the loser pro-abortion boyfriend lyrics.
Definitely.
And you've got the reality kind of in here too, where while it's not pro-life, it is pointing out where he says, I don't suppose I'll ever know what it means to be a man,
Yeah.
because they lost the chance at fatherhood, which I think is really profound.
Yeah, he admits it.
Yeah.
Even some of these pro-abortion songs that are they're admitting that it's bad. Okay. What's It Like by Everlast.
What it's like.
What it's like? What did I say?
What's it like?
What's it like? That is so weird
What
to
it's
read.
like.
What it's like.
What it is like.
by
what it's like.
Everlast. Everlast. Thank you for the note.
Yeah.
Is this Jump Around?
The jump around guy.
Jump Around. So this is the Jump Around guy. Is this a well-known song?
Yes.
Unlike Jump Around. Or Jump Around's huge.
This one was well known.
Yes, it's very dated though. Like, I don't think you're going to hear it much anymore. There are some songs from like, we had Santana on here. Remember the Smooth song? Like, they're still playing that at the grocery store.
True.
I don't think anyone's playing What It's Like anymore.
True.
But they're playing Jump Around at like every 8th grade dance in the country.
Yes, I went to the University of Wisconsin. They play it in the fourth quarter, and the stadium sways on its foundation when they do it because everyone is jumping around. It's cool. It's a great
Jeez.
tradition.
Doesn't stay warm.
That's true. It's not something you'll hear today, but it was very well known at that time.
Yeah, and this is like the moral relativism theme song, in my opinion. Because, and it's the one that really, the only one of the songs on our list that would address 40 Days for Life, because the guy's bashing
Yep.
people who are in front of abortion clinics as being judgmental. And then maybe if you had to walk a mile in her shoes, then you'd know what it's like.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
Everlast.
Yeah.
Yes.
They called her a sinner.
Yes, they call her a sinner and they call her a whore.
Yes, you could say it. You could say that on the podcast. But okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought that was another band.
Yeah, and who knows Everlast? Like, I don't know anything else they did. Maybe the guy was more popular because Everlast is, I think, is that a band or is it a guy who left the Jump Around? Who House of Pain did Jump Around? I don't know, but yeah.
Well, this is critical of us. This is where the judgmental people, and
Yes.
until you walk in their shoes, you can't say anything.
And that's what it says, because then it changes the last word of the last couple of words of the chorus in that particular part of the song. Then you really might know what it's like to have to choose, as if no one on the sidewalk has ever had an abortion,
Yeah, it's a
which
big
we know is not true.
right.
Big time.
Every song on this list, whether it's pro-life or pro-abortion, I think it reveals some degree of truth. This is the exception to that one. This is just a pure lie, but it was such a cultural phenomenon 25 years ago that I think it was worth including in the discussion.
Yeah.
I think it actually legitimately hurt the pro-life movement because the song
Yeah.
was so big, and you're like, yeah, those people, they are out on the sidewalks and they are judging people. And of course, this is the 90s, so there were the bombings of abortion clinics, there were the abortion doctors who got shot, and all these crazy things. So we already have a bad rap, and then the song comes out, and it's totally one-sided. Not even Kanye's one-sided. He's got he's like 90-10. But this is 100% like we're bad. Okay, I'm gonna need Heather to sing this because I don't know what this is. Brick by Ben Folds 5.
It's not coming to my mind.
Isn't that coming to your mind?
No.
I
Now
think
you
it's
gotta
like
sing it.
It's all on you, Steve.
You're a loser, baby.
she's a brick and I'm drowning slowly. No?
That's vaguely familiar.
It's very high pitch. It's not the type of song I would normally listen to. I think this is like probably the most famous of the 90s abortion songs.
I think I know. They go back into the room, right? And she has the
Yeah.
abortion.
It's like, she's a brick and I'm drowning slowly.
Yes.
No, they sing.
I remember
Closet
that.
singer.
I remember that. Yeah.
Both
I
Schmitz are
remember.
coming back.
Getting the band back
Get the
together,
band
baby.
together.
Yeah,
He's-
this song.
He's going to quit his job next week.
Don't
It's
quit
just
your day
gonna
job.
be us on the
Does the band have health benefits? Not exactly.
And now we're gonna pause the podcast to show Steve and his band. Take it away, Steve.
That's right.
It'd be like the Doc Severinsen in the back of the Johnny Carson show. That's dated. Yeah, this song, I don't really like the song and I don't really like the lyrics, but it's another one where you can kind of feel the despair coming out of the piano as he's banging away at it. And the lyrics are the darkest of all. It's a true story. The singer it's the day after Christmas. He sells his Christmas gifts to pay for his girlfriend's abortion.
I missed that part in the lyrics.
Yeah. I'm not sure how often do we pay attention to lyrics? Certainly not the Goo Goo Dolls lyrics. But the lyrics here that I think are key. He says, driving back to her apartment, for the moment, we're alone. Yeah, she's alone, and I'm alone, and now I know it. And so you see, like, abortion is going to solve the problem the day after Christmas, take care of it. And suddenly he's saying about we're more alone than we've ever been before.
Hey!
Yeah.
And yet the guy's pro-abortion to this day and says, if he did an interview about, he never wanted to talk about it, but he said he was asked so many personal questions that finally he's like, hey, I'll talk about this. I'll open up about it. And he said, like, well, it's just about a song about my girlfriend and I needed an abortion. And I'm always curious about when people say, like, need about abortion, like, we're going to reduce the need for abortion through contraception or this government program or whatever. There's just no need for it. It's such a weasel word.
Yeah. Yeah, like we needed to have our gas turned back on in our house because we were going to die of the cold.
Any honorable mentions?
Yeah, we can do some honorable mentions. Do you have one in mind?
Not right now. I did, and I forgot it. It might come back to me. But you might after this list.
Yes. There's just a sweet Michael Bublé song. It's just so pro-family. Love You Evermore. I'll Love You Forever. It's just beautiful. It's about his daughter being born.
Okay.
So there's that side of it, which is you don't have to like be in an abortion clinic and be, but
And you can turn on Michael Bublé when it's not Christmas time.
absolutely. Absolutely. But it is a beautiful song that he wrote when they had their little girl and then they had a child. He left his career. That's part of the reason that actually hurt him is he left for 4 years because his child was very sick. And he just retired and then came back after the kid got better. But the song about his little girl, it's like the song for our daughters that we'll all dance to at their wedding. Like it's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, here's a good one. Here's one I was thinking of a long time ago. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys. Did you know that Closing Time?
Closing time.
Very pro-life.
That guy.
Just like
What's
that.
with the 90s nasal people? Green Day had that.
Yeah.
Do you have the time
Oh,
to
yeah, that
listen
one
to me rhyme?
Yeah, I didn't like
And
Green
they're
Day.
nuts. I loved Green Day, but then they're crazy. I wouldn't listen to them now, but yeah.
But Semisonic Closing Time is a I'm happy to be a daddy song hidden behind this is a song about a bar closing down at 3 a.m.
Great piano.
It's awesome.
It's a great song. It's like every high school graduation song. That and what's the Green Day song? I hope you had the time of your life. What's with those guys? They needed a Kleenex in the 90s. They just didn't have it.
My dad was like, all these music you sound to, it sounds like a goat singing.
Yeah, and
Goat.
but also there wasn't like a butch 90s band. I always noticed that. 98 Degrees, that guy, who's the guy in real life?
Nick Lachey.
Yeah. He married Jessica Simpson, right?
Yes.
And so he was he was a dude. But like the Green Day guys, the Matchbox 20, I mean, all those kind of NSYNC. There wasn't any, they were lacking, they needed to butch it up a little bit. It wasn't,
Guru.
yeah, they weren't very masculine, I would say, but the music
agree.
was phenomenal. Matchbox 20 was probably the most masculine, but I don't know. Even they were kind of weaselly.
Do you know why they use the bar sort of motif to disguise that this is a pro-life song?
The lead singer explained it at a concert I saw on a video one time. He said he didn't want to be mushy. He didn't want to write a mushy song.
For his bandmates, because he
Yeah,
said
for
when
his
the
bandmates.
singer of a band has a baby, the bandmates all like, oh no, we're going to have to sing about this guy's kid now. So
Right.
he just wrapped it up a little bit.
Right.
That's hysterical.
Right. And everything except for like one thing in that song lined up with with like the analogy worked both ways,
Yeah.
right? So it was like it's closing time. You're it's time to leave. So you're leaving the womb. You're being kicked out of the womb, kicked out of the bar.
I've got one that I think people will be like, "How did you leave this off the list?" So I need to mention it. You're gonna miss this by Trace Atkins.
Okay.
The Growler.
Oh,
He's always growling. You're gonna miss this. You're gonna want this back.
Is
Give me a
definitely-
cigarette. I'm dying. Like he's growling at you the whole time. But you know, the house is busy and the kids move off, and then he's, you know, it's quiet and all that, and you're gonna miss this. But then he's got this weird age gap. It's like, I got 2 kids too. One's 36, one's 23. We're like, can I explain that? Like, which there's big gaps, but it was an odd for the song. I'm like, why did the writers do that? Maybe it's because it rhymed. But
yeah.
he gets revved up in that. That's one of his recent hits because he was a big 90s guy, and then he had the conversion and settled down and cut out all the honky tonkin'.
It's definitely more pro-life than honky tonk, but donkey donk.
Donk, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He was wild. He talks about it. He's a Christian speaker. He's been in a few Christian
Really?
movies. Yeah, he's been in a few Christian movies. He's a big evangelical guy. He's great. But that's why he came out with, "You're gonna miss her." and most singers don't like him. I like Trace Atkins because his songs were kind of redneck and fun. Kind of like Luke Bryan. But
gosh.
Steve hates Luke Bryan. But You're Gonna Miss This is a sweet song. Remember When is a sweet song by Alan Jackson.
That is.
Very
And
sweet
the
song.
Hootie and the Blowfish guy, Darius
Darius
Rucker,
Rucker.
who will always just be Hootie to me. Do you know he's been Darius Rucker, the country guy, a lot longer than he was Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But do you know my brother-in-law,
wagon wheel.
Tanner, is obsessed with him. He's obsessed with Hootie.
Okay.
When you go see Darius Rucker, he busts into Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, good,
So
good.
it's like a double, like you're
Yes.
like, this is awesome.
'Cause I've
Because he
seen
does
him.
like wagon wheel and he does his
Yes.
country stuff. And then he's like,
I
with a
wanna be
little
with
love,
you. Yeah, and then
and
that
some
one, yeah.
tenderness. And you're like, Hootie!
Yes.
He's doing it the best that he can.
Absolutely.
I saw him in Austin a few years ago and he did that. I was like, this is
Hold
great.
my hand. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to see him in concert. But he pulled it off. He is country, and he said he was always country. I think he's like from the country. He like grew up, and anyways, when he got into the music, it just went to that genre of
Yeah.
the '90s stuff.
Yeah, he's got a song that's very much like that Trace Atkins one. That's what is it? You're Gonna Miss This. That's not the Trace Atkins. What was the Trace Atkins one?
You're gonna miss
You're
this.
gonna miss this.
And he had Hootie and the Blowfish one. It won't be like this for long, and it's kind of like the mom's struggling with the kids, but like
Oh.
it won't be like this for long. Similar theme.
The last one, this will give him 2. I Don't Know Why They Say Grown Men Don't Cry by Tim McGraw. Beautiful pro-family song, pro-fatherhood song. She drags her teddy bear up, you know, to it's story time, and then she kisses me and she hugs me, and it's just quiet. I don't know why they say grown men don't cry. It's an emotional song, but I like that song.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tim
If you
McGraw.
want
After.
to give him a third,
Uh-oh.
oh, I'm blinking on it.
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
That's procreation.
Getting Down on the Farm. That's the most redneck song ever. I love it. Getting Down on the Farm. Download that.
My Little Girl.
Yes,
Yes.
my little girl.
Yes.
We were parents for like 8 years before we had a girl, and so I like cranked that song after we got the ultrasound.
Aw.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't seen the Braves play a game all year. That's back when he was owning the twang. He got a little yuppity. He lost the
Hollywood.
twang. Indian Outlaw is still playing on the radio.
Really?
So good,
Yeah,
too.
they haven't canceled Indian Outlaw.
I doubt that's on the Madison stations.
Have Cherokee and Choctaw. I mean, yeah,
My baby, she's a Chippewa.
yeah, it's just you listen to it and it's just addicting because it all rhymes. So that's old school Tim.
Yeah, that's got to be one of his first, if not the first.
Absolutely. So please tell us what we missed, if anything. Hopefully this goes to entertain and educate you all at the same time. Email us at podcast@40daysforlife.com with your pro-life song. There's so many songs, unlike like movies and books like we've done, that easily could have missed some. Please post them on the YouTube page. If you're watching this on YouTube, or just email them to us at podcast@40daysforlife.com. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Heather. Please rate, review, and share this podcast, and we will see you next time. God bless you.